Prince Harry is making headlines again, but not because of a new memoir or Netflix partnerships. It is raw. The king himself has taken a critical decision that is upending the table, according to the rumors circulating within the palace walls and among royal insiders. Prince Harry is said to have received explicit orders from King Charles not to receive any royal funding. None. Not a single penny. The top is sending a very clear message. Give him time to learn. Let us not act as though there has never been drama in our household. We have witnessed everything: the interviews, the documentaries, the books, the tell-alls of emotion, William's fallout, and the cold looks from the room's royal side. However, this is the following level. This has nothing to do with press attention or titles. Money is at issue here. Royal funds. This is the type of money that keeps estates, security, prestige, and, to be honest, survival at the level Harry has been accustomed to since birth. After years of conflict between Harry and the royal institution, the decision was made. Harry made it clear he sought independence after leaving his royal duties, financial autonomy, emotional self-reliance, everything. After relocating to the US, he and Meghan began a new life, and they appeared to be doing well for a while. The memoir, the Netflix contract, and the podcast were all there. They were seen by the public grinning, discussing healing, producing material, and residing in California with their 2 children. Behind all of it, though, the money was becoming increasingly important. According to people close to the palace, King Charles has grown more and more irritated with Harry's public remarks and the way he still discusses the royal family while simultaneously using royal privileges when it is convenient for him. Insiders claim that the monarch feels Harry needs to experience what it is like to be truly independent and stand on his own 2 feet. Does Harry actually have no money left? Is he on the verge of bankruptcy? Let us be truthful. It sounds crazy to think of a royal being bankrupt. It is not impossible, though. Not when you factor in the expense of keeping up a lifestyle that used to include palaces and butlers, raising 2 kids in one of the priciest areas of California, and retaining private security. When you leave the crown, you do not get to keep those, not to mention that the agreements he made involved more than just financial favors. They had expectations, work, deliverables, results. The funding slows down if the initiatives do not continue and public interest begins to wane, and that can be very hurtful for someone who turned down promised royal funding. According to royal experts, this goes beyond money. It has to do with principle. King Charles wishes to convey a message to everyone in the audience, not just Harry. Disrespect comes with a cost. Rebellion comes with a price. Burning the bridge and then coming back to demand toll money is not an option. Despite all of its customs and regulations, the royal family continues to function as a family business. Furthermore, when someone transgresses, particularly on a worldwide level, the repercussions are not limited to cold holiday dinners. They appear in cutoffs in real life. Let us also discuss the unspoken issue. If this transfer is real, Harry will not be the only one impacted. This will have an effect on Meghan, the kids, and possibly their brand as a couple, because regardless of how you phrase it, the brand suffers when headlines begin to inquire about whether a prince is going bankrupt. Being independent, successful, and in charge of their story has been important to their post-royal identity. However, money speaks, and at the moment, it is saying things that they most likely do not want to hear. Naturally, some claim that this is karma, that Harry abandoned his family and is now experiencing what it is like to live alone. Some people are referring to it as cruel, asserting that a father should never totally distance himself from his son, particularly when grandchildren are involved. However, one thing is certain, there is now more than just emotional turmoil in this household. It is highly public and financial. The palace has not yet released an official statement and is unlikely to do so. The royal method is that, keep quiet. Maintain a rigid top lip, leave the nasty work to the tabloids. The crown's insiders, meanwhile, are not holding back. The monarch is finished with the back and forth, they claim. He is tired of being portrayed as the bad guy in interviews and documentaries. Additionally, Harry may have to begin downsizing if this cash freeze is genuine. There is already discussion about whether he will have to reduce staff, sell off assets, or perhaps reconsider future business agreements. Making decisions becomes more difficult when finances are limited. His days of unrestricted royal patronage are obviously over, even though no one is implying that he will soon be homeless. It feels like a turning point right now. This seems like a loud attitude from a royal family that is known for treating matters gently. The dissident prince will no longer have a royal bank account. It is a message to do it for yourself. And regardless of your level of fame or fortune, that is a severe message. What will happen to Harry next? That is literally the most important question. Will he return with a new book, a new project, or a new deal? Or will Prince Harry become a more reserved, circumspect individual who at last comprehends what it is like to be without the royal safety net? One thing is certain, regardless of what occurs next, the family is no longer having fun. The king is employing the one thing that truly attracts attention in order to demand accountability: money. Whether you are a prince or not, reality sets in after the bank closes. You cannot turn against your own family and expect to be all right. They want him to understand. Not after you have tarnished their reputation on the grandest platforms in the world, and especially not when that family is the royal family. The message emanating from within those palace walls is to seize independence if you desire it. However, freedom has costs. You do not get to doubt the organization that safeguarded you, criticize the individuals who raised you, and then call when the expenses start piling up. This is not how it operates. It is not only about money. It has to do with loyalty. It has to do with trust. According to insiders, that trust has been totally betrayed. Even while the royal family has experienced its share of scandals, this Harry chapter strikes a new chord. It is intimate. It is sentimental. Additionally, it has shown a weakness in the family's foundation that cannot be completely repaired by PR. They feel deceived. It is simple. The courtiers, the monarch, and even senior family members who have been silent for years due to the drama believe that Harry crossed a line and never turned back. And now that he may be having financial difficulties, he is seeking assistance without accepting accountability for the harm he has caused. They are also not moving. It has been suggested that the king's edict was intended to convey a message as much as to make money. One last one, that the institution is superior to everyone, not even his own son, that if you go, you leave completely. Picking and choosing when to be private and when to be regal is not your choice. You cannot disparage your family in public and then demand support in private. They declare that double life is finished. Charles is not the only one. Even Prince William, who has had a tense relationship with Harry for years, is reportedly supporting the choice. According to reports, he is tired of the emotional upheaval that follows every new initiative that Harry and Meghan reveal, the drama, the interviews, and the truth bombs. William is reportedly privately relieved about this cash freeze. He thinks that, like everyone else, Harry must face reality. And here's what folks are thinking, but not speaking aloud. This has a lesson to teach, a challenging one. That family is important, that despite all the arguments, it is not always possible to turn back once you have gone too far. Support is not necessarily a sign of love, particularly when trust is lost. In this instance, they are stating that Harry made his own decisions. He selected the interviewees. He made the decision to separate. He decided to speak the truth. The royal family is currently selecting theirs. There is more to the financial cutoff than just punishment. It is the end. It is how they say, "We are done. You are out because you wanted to." However, what about the kids? What about Lilibet and Archie? Things become complex at that point. The royal family does not wish to witness the children suffering. Compassion and a sense of accountability are still present. However, experts warn that even that will not take precedence over the larger picture. In their own way, the youngsters are safeguarded. However, their dad, he is being challenged to deal with the consequences of his choices like an adult. When he stepped away, he was like the grown-up he said he wanted to be. Furthermore, let us face it, this issue extends beyond the royal family. Anymore, millions of people worldwide are following this public story. Some people are supporting Harry by arguing that he ought to have been cut off years ago. He is being handled too brutally, according to those who feel sorry for him. However, things change quickly in the court of public opinion. When the story seems lopsided, sympathy wanes. The royal family is currently taking back their side of the tale, powerfully but quietly. What does Harry's future hold in this regard? He will need to work more efficiently, make wiser decisions, and perhaps even humble himself. Because the name Prince Harry still carries weight, whether he wants it or not. The royal purse, however, is closed. This is the moment if he wishes to leave a legacy that goes beyond theater. He must figure out how to stand, really stand, on his own 2 feet without the support of palace connections or royal safety nets. Will he do it? Only time will be able to answer that question. They bide their time. Then they take action, and with this financial freeze, they are saying that is enough. Even a prince is not as important as the institution. They consider Harry to have made his decision, and they are currently making theirs. Yes, it is cold. However, it is the kind of cold that follows years of being accustomed to warmth. Not to mention that this family has experienced controversy after scandal. However, one of their unwritten principles is still loyalty, even in the face of mess. Harry also cracked that code. Many people believe that the things he wrote, said, and revealed should have remained in the family. He publicly attacked a system rather than merely disagreeing with it. And now he is finding that there is no turning back once private pain is made public. That is the reason this whole thing feels so weighty. Petty retaliation is not the point here. It is a reset. It is a sign that the monarchy is letting go. Not with him. No matter how much Harry tries to convince himself and the public that he is free and doing well, it is difficult to accept. In actuality, there is a distinction between ignoring your past and becoming isolated by it. One is empowering, the other is exile-like. Although Meghan has not discussed this most recent development in public, you can bet that the discussions taking place behind closed doors are serious. They had a plan when they first broke away from the royal family. They believed they did anyway, but it is not easy to develop an empire outside of the company, particularly when you are depending on public support that has gradually begun to change. Now, actual questions are being asked regarding money, regarding motivations, on the couple's ability to maintain the type of life they once led without being continuously relevant by the royal spotlight. Harry has choices to make, the type that characterizes a man. Will he attempt self-defense and retaliation? Or will he use this as an opportunity to get his bearings and start over without the commotion? His name still has possibilities, in his tone, on his platform. This action by King Charles makes it considerably more difficult for Harry to return to the family in the future, not as a working royal, but just to make amends. On both sides, pride has suffered. Apologies may be desired, but no one is prepared to initiate contact. Time is simply increasing the gap in this silent stalemate. However, everyone is humbled by life, and Harry finds himself at a turning point more than before. Being Prince Harry is not enough to cover expenses. Peace is not assured by titles. He must now discover a new strength, in action, not in memoirs or interviews, silently, in organizing his home so that it does not bear the burden of another controversy. People throughout the world are watching to see if he will rise above the royal shadow or fail in his attempt to do so. He now has a family of his own, 2 kids, a wife, and a worldwide platform. That ought to be more than plenty to construct something strong. However, that only occurs if he takes this lesson to heart, if he eventually comes to terms with the fact that independence entails accountability, that there are actual and occasionally irrevocable repercussions when you abandon your family. Is Prince Harry about to go bankrupt? Depending on your definition of wealth, yes. He may not be there yet if it is financial, but the pressure is growing. He is already lacking in connection, legacy, and belonging. Because the quiet strength that comes from being a part of something bigger than yourself cannot be replaced by any amount of celebrity, family-like perhaps. And the world should truly focus on that aspect of the narrative, the underlying truth, not simply the royal money headlines, that sometimes you lose more than money when you lose the ones who loved you first, even if it was not a perfect love. Grounding is lost. History is lost. You forfeit the opportunity to ever truly fit in again. The true test is whether Harry can live, even if he may have believed he was moving toward freedom. Due to the closure of the royal purse, the royal heart appears to be the same.